back to the Branded Podcast. My name is Ashley Wynn, and I'm joined by our amazing host,
Sierra Scott.
And as always, I'm the head of client relations at A Client Creative, and our Sierra is
the chief marketing technologist.
Awesome. Good to see you guys again. Thanks for tuning in another week. And if you're new here, like and subscribe. We love new faces. We are getting into it this week about the Justin and Britney feud. It is 2, almost 3 decades in the making still, and some crazy new developments have happened. What are your thoughts on it, Sierra?
I think it's insane. I mean, we have 2 very grown adults who are now rehashing something that kind of happened, like you said, like 20, 30 years ago. But it's kind of giving nostalgia vibes for me. Like, I feel a little bit like I'm back in my preteens, and I thought I was going to marry Justin. I was very delulu as a child. And so, Britney, you were not the only one who thought you were going to marry him. So this is kind of just like reliving those childhood vibes for me. I'm very excited for this. How about you, Ashley?
We were definitely taught that to be Delulu. We all were. We were a Delulu generation, and this is what happens. We are still rehashing the same things. And it's a little wild to think that like we are rehashing it, but it's almost so muddy that I'm like, is this really still the core drama that is still causing all of this? Like, does it really still go back to like the Crimea River situation where it's he said, she said, and what really happened? And I just feel like, is that really what we're doing? Are we really still there?
We are still there. We are deep in that river. Let's do a quick recap timeline of everything that's been happening here. So for people who are just joining into the saga, let's recap what the Britney Justin feud is about. In 1999 to 2002, Britney and Justin dated. That was the prime year. They wore the denim outfit to the MTV Movie Awards. It was amazing. They had pinky rings. They called each other like cute little names. It was the height of pop culture. We had the princess of pop and the lead singer of a boy band dating. You know, it gives, honestly, Justin and Selena vibes, but they were like the OG version of that. So that was back then. They actually met doing the Mickey Mouse Club, which was a new version of the Mickey Mouse Club, this thing that had been around since like the 50s. And you had a hugely famous cast. Like, these were the up-and-comers who turned out to be some of the biggest names in the industry. You had Britney and Justin on there, obviously. You had Christina Aguilera. You had JC Chasez, who was also a part of NSYNC. Additionally, you had Carrie Russell, who was on that show Felicity at the time, or not at the time, but later on in her life. You also had Ryan Gosling, Ken. We just talked about Ken last week, so he was there as well. You had a hugely talented cast of children, because these people were all like 11 to 16 at the time. The show ran from 1989 to 1995. And this is where Justin and Britney actually met, and they had their very first kiss. It was adorable. They did it to a Lionel Richie song and a sleepover sketch, because that's what the show was about. So moving on past then, Britney becomes ultra famous, doing her Baby Hit Me One More Time stint. That's the thing that catapulted her into stardom. And Justin had already kind of become famous with NSYNC. So she actually opened for their tour, and that's how they reconnected, and that's when they started dating just a year later. It was officially announced in 2000, but they kind of started dating in 1999. So they broke up in 2002, and that was because of several cheating rumors, mostly towards Britney. They were saying Britney cheated on Justin, and that was the whole thing. Justin was just the victim in the situation. He was scorned. It was a tumultuous time for him. But Britney was basically painted as the villain. And so, as Ashley kind of mentioned before, that's when we got the Crimea River, the Justified album. He even cast the girl who looked incredibly similar to Britney for that video. So it was just the whole he said, she said from that point on. And now, today, fast forward, because basically at the time, the cultural reaction was to just attack Britney. So this was like, it went on for like years and years. Like, Britney went into her conservatorship, but even prior to that, it was like 20 years of her just being bashed by the media. So luckily today she has found retribution. But let's talk a little bit about what we think Justin was going through at the time, because we know he, like I said, tried to play the victim. Ashley, what do you think he built this branding of while he was in this sort of situation at that time.
Absolutely. He was easily shielded by our media and our culture and our society at the time, and we have not changed a whole lot, unfortunately. Everything that happened between them is just kind of an example of how we really treated pop stars that were male versus female. He was able to break out, have this big successful career, and not really have a lot of scandal ever. He was just always the cool guy, you know, he's hanging out with all the other cool guys of the time, and he's just low key. And but Britney's spiraling, she's the crazy one, no one, like, can't help herself. And with him, he's not an angel. Like, it's been reported many times over the years of his escapades. Like, he wasn't ever really faithful to her either, that's known. But because we live in a patriarchal society and he is just a huge breadwinning pop star, they kind of let him be. They kind of let him be a boy. We saw a lot of that happen with Justin Bieber too, where very unsavory things came out. Like, NDAs were broken with things that he had done with various women in various countries around the world that you can Google about firsthand reports of what he was up to. Justin was doing the same thing. That was just exactly how it was for him too. But none of that was ever getting reported. But instead, for Britney, everything she did was completely scrutinized, and just, she was treated like she was the worst when she was really just lost at that age. And we didn't help her at all. We totally failed her. And he never got scrutinized the same. Like, if you go back and you look at interviews of them at the same times, and then sometimes them even together, they're asking him completely different kinds of questions than they're asking her. They're asking her questions about, like, oh, when are you getting married? Oh, who was your first? All these, like, really intrusive things that they would just say straight to her face, and not to him at this exact same time. So I definitely feel like what we're dealing with now is, should we make Justin come out and say, oh, I'm sorry for everything, I had all these, I was just as bad too? What do we want from him? You know, it's not his fault he was shielded. That's just us as a society.
I agree with you. And I think that he did at one point come out, because he had that whole thing with Janet Jackson too, where it was I don't remember which Super Bowl, but they did the Super Bowl halftime show and he ripped off her, I guess it was like a bra flap. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was like a piece of her wardrobe, and she had this wardrobe malfunction. And they blamed Janet. They blamed Janet for that, which is, how are you going to blame the person who's just wearing the clothes and not blame the person who does the actual move that makes this happen? But I think that it's just the way that we treat women within this industry. And I know that he eventually did, once Britney got out of her conservatorship and people were livid because of all that she had been through and whatnot, he kind of issued a little bit of an apology statement for that. But now, moving forward, like, let's get into the meat and potatoes of where we're at today, which is the fact that Britney released her memoir. And, you know, she spoke out. She spoke her truth. She spoke Britney's truth, the woman in me. And she mentioned how, you know, she felt Justin had treated her, her perspective on the situations, her having an abortion, and different things like that. But he just had his song Selfish come out. You know, he's doing a comeback with NSYNC and everything. So he had this song Selfish come out recently, which honestly to me sounds like it was meant for Justin Bieber. It sounds very Bieber-esque. It sounds like one of the songs that he sings about Hailey with, because he does this a lot constantly. I feel like it was meant for him, but it went to Justin Timberlake. Anyways,
Agreed.
Britney, yeah, right.
The lyrics are the exact same. I mean, I haven't really done any digging as to who actually wrote the song, but the production, the writing, the sound, everything, it's just a Bieber song.
It's a Bieber song.
Yeah, it's a cute little song, but yeah, it's just not new.
No, yeah, for sure. It's cute, whatever. But I also, like, there have been plenty of rumors about him cheating on Jessica as well. And, you know, the whole thing with his movie and him cheating with the co-star and stuff like that. So I feel, honestly, I kind of feel like it's a bit gross, too. But that's neither here nor there.
It feels disgenuine. It's
it
so
does.
hard to pronounce that word. Yeah, it's disgenuine. Because, it was only like a year ago that video came out on that New Orleans balcony where it's like, yeah, your boy parties, like, everyone knows that. Like, he's He kicks back, he drinks, and he hangs with people who are not his wife. And I don't know if that means he's cheating, but it's not a great look.
Yeah, so Selfish came out on the 25th of January last month, and it went to #1 on iTunes Top 100. So it's been sitting there, sitting pretty, doing its thing, right? And however, Britney fans did not like this because Justin is basically doing the most here. And so they decided to take her 2011 song Selfish and take it to #1 also. And it went to #1 in the US and also a couple different countries, which was amazing. And so Britney, and here's the thing about Britney that I really do like, and also feel really bad that she is like this, because I feel like if she were just like a little, she might not go through so much. But so she took it upon herself to apologize to Justin. She went on Instagram and she apologizes to Justin for her fans essentially being kind of mean to him. She's like, hey man, I didn't want them to be mean to you because of the book or because of anything. And then, you know, doing all that they're doing, like, sorry about it. Apologizes, literal apology. What does Justin do? He goes on his next, the thing that he's promoting Selfish on, the performance
His
that
concert.
he's doing. Yeah,
his
and
concert in New York.
Yeah, and he's
that
like,
was
I apologize to nobody. Unnecessary. Like, what kind of man are you? You're supposed to be a family man. You're supposed to be singing this song to your wife. You're supposed to be, you know, about love and everything like that. You're making your comeback now. You're supposed to be a bigger person. And you're sitting over here trying to start a fight with a woman who just pretty much got out of a conservatorship and is just trying to live her life. She's just trying to speak her truth because she has been literally held captive for like 13 years. And you want to sit here and be petty for literally no reason. What is this life? I don't understand.
Yeah, it felt like this was beneath him. It didn't really need to, he didn't need to behave that way. He didn't need to say that at all. It was kind of out of nowhere too, and out of character for him, for the character we know. And so, yeah, I didn't love that, especially when she's done nothing but kind of be like, hey, like, sorry for any pain it caused you. But her book was her truth, but it was really scathing and it was difficult. And I'm sure he didn't, I know that he sent multiple cease and desist before the book came out, but obviously things still were said and still made it to print. So I'm sure he's not happy about it. He wants it all to go away, but I'm sure she wants the past 20 years of her life to go away.
Yeah, so, you know, perspective there. But absolutely, this is just the beginning, and then Britney has responded since then. She's learned about him saying those things and has said on Instagram, like, why? You know, essentially, like, why are you doing this? Like, that's stupid. I heard that you did this. This is stupid. So I want to know in the comments what you guys think about this feud, where you think it's going to go, what the point of it is, and whose side are you on? Are you on a side? Do you think that this is worth it? I don't know. What do you think, Ashley?
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear all those things, and I'd love to know what people think about, like, their brands respectively. Like, do you think there's Britney's brand strengthening out of this? Like, do you think that the stigma surrounding her mental health and things, that she can overcome it, that a women artist can overcome it and still have that next chapter in their life? Is he diminishing his brand by all this coming out about him and then him choosing to act that way? And he's not gone on some stadium tour yet where he's really proved and really wowed everyone, kind of in the way that Usher has, you know, with his residency in Vegas. A lot of unsavory things have come out about him over the years, but now he's showing himself as a true performer, and now he's got the Super Bowl next weekend. So do you think that Justin is, like, dampening himself as a brand and any shot he has of still being on that level, while Britney, do you think that she's making a comeback versus him? What do you think this spells out for his comeback? We'd love to hear your comment on that.
Let us know, guys. Drop it in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will talk to you next time.